Hey guys, so let us talk about this week's episode of The Vampire Diaries. We had some major developments and we also had some dysfunctional friend drama. Let's just go ahead and talk about my favorite part of this episode, and that is Bonnie and Damon. You guys, these two are quickly just becoming my favorite thing about The Vampire Diaries. I love it, you guys. I mean, the whole bit where they start out in the grocery store and we get that they're kind of like doing their grocery shopping like they're a little family while the banter goes back and forth. And the banter between the two of them is always pretty darn fantastic. Now remember, at the end of the last episode, there was the whole mystery of who filled out the crossword puzzle, and oh my gosh, somebody's here with us. On a side note, it seriously reminded me of that moment in Lost when the Losties realized that there were other people on the island with them, the others. In true Lost fashion, Bonnie and Damon realize that they are not alone in 1994. And eventually we meet this guy and his name is Kai. So there was a whole bit with Kai and Damon where we eventually get that Kai wants to kill Damon. But then who really doesn't, right? I think probably my favorite part of the episode was that moment, right? Where Bonnie comes in and is just like, don't touch him, like leave him alone. And it's a pretty much do or die moment. Like either Bonnie's gonna do some magic or Damon's gonna die. After months of her practicing, I'm guessing that all she needed was a little pressure because she lit that candle on fire and I almost stood up and cheered. I was so freaking excited. Kind of felt bad for Kai, but then at the same time, I was kind of ready to see Bonnie be a badass again. So I'm really excited that she's got her magic back. Now, Kai tries to play it off later in the episode like, oh, I really wasn't gonna kill you. I was just trying to get Bonnie to do magic. And so I'm guessing we're gonna learn more about who this guy is, where he comes from, why he's trapped there with them. And I'm also guessing that he's gonna help them figure out how to actually get out of there and get back to their normal lives. Also, speaking of new characters, let's talk about this Liam guy. So Liam goes to school with Elena and she invites him to this get together outside of Mystic Falls where all her friends are at because she wants to introduce him to Caroline. I'm pretty sure Elena's thinking she's gonna set them up, but it's pretty obvious that he is more interested in her. And by the end of the episode, you know, he kisses her and she seems to not mind it all that much. Of course, Elena in this episode is, I mean, you guys, it was the old Elena. I get that in this episode, they're trying to say that she's kind of almost like a fake version of herself because she's been compelled to forget Damon. But the funny thing is, I actually liked her and she reminded me of old Elena. And I think that's what I really liked. I think the lesson that I learned this week about myself and Elena Gilbert is that the whole like emotional, like over the top Elena is the one I can't deal with. So this Elena, I was kind of enjoying her and I don't care that she doesn't remember. I am hoping that she sticks around. Speaking of older versions of themselves, I must say that Jeremy, all of a sudden I got it. As I was watching this episode, I realized that this Jeremy, you know, his whole kind of like, I don't care about anything attitude, it so reminds me of Jeremy season 1. Remember when Jeremy was all drugged up because he was missing his parents and he was doing drugs and he was hanging out with Vicky? That Jeremy reminds me of this Jeremy. So Jeremy's grieving and he really kind of falls into that same pattern again. One big lesson that we learned in this episode, of course, is the reminder that magic does not work in Mystic Falls anymore. So when Caroline compelled Sarah to forget, that worked, but once she went to Mystic Falls, it doesn't work so much anymore. By the time they realize that, Sarah is gone from the party and who knows where she's at in Mystic Falls. So I'm sure she's gonna be spilling the beans soon. Stefan comes back, but the real reason he comes back is to find Enzo because he's determined that he's going to kill him. By the end of the episode, Stefan ends up handing Enzo over to Trip, and I guess we'll see what's gonna happen there. I'm gonna doubt that they're gonna kill Enzo that quickly. I mean, he's just too kind of annoying and enjoyable. So I'm sure that something's gonna give there. And let's talk about Tyler for a hot second, you guys. Poor Tyler, right? Because I feel like he's trying really hard to not trigger his werewolf gene again. But it really does seem like he's fighting a losing battle. Like he gets angry so quickly that eventually you get that something is gonna happen. Now, I know a lot of you guys are into the idea of Steroline, and I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen with that this season. We had the scene where Caroline admits to Elena that she's had feelings for Stefan. And then, of course, we have this big emotional scene between Stefan and Caroline. But I don't know, you guys. I'm not really sure how I would feel about the whole Caroline and Stefan thing. So I guess we'll have to see what happens there. I don't know about that. I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Are you a Steroline fan? Should it happen? Do you think it's gonna happen? Definitely let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Okay, you guys, that's it for me this week. I thought it was a good episode. It definitely felt really short, even though I know it wasn't. But it was like, it was over and I was like, oh my God, it's already over. I can't believe it. So I guess I did enjoy it quite a lot. Okay, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.